and try to abbreviate them and take out what was important. I cut it down from 66 slides to I think 25, and then I went down to 23. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I didn't cut out the stuff you need to know, but we'll see. Okay, examining crime. Media speculation, personal perspectives. There's a lot going on right now. We got a newly elected president. We've got new policies going into place. We've got a lot of controversy over state versus federal. The feds can't tell the states what to do. That's true. But to a degree, the states do have to comply with law. Okay, that's not a choice. You have to comply. So please keep an eye on what's going on. And I'm not talking about anyone's opinions or perspective on what's happening. I'm just saying take a look and see how the media affecting the actual policies that are being put out. Are they telling you the truth? Do your homework. And what's your personal opinion on this? Do you believe that sanctuary cities should have the right to protect criminals? Well, I threw you a curve. I didn't say immigrants. I said criminals. Should they have the right to protect criminals under state law? Whatever they want to govern themselves or however. Is that okay? What is the media saying about it? What are the feds saying about it? Do your homework. What do you think about it? Criminology's focus. We have a class we put together about 3 years ago now, I think. I believe it's AJ 112. It's called Criminology. Professor Farrar teaches that. Oh, shit, I'm gonna be taking on. He's retiring. Yeah, he's my guy, man. Me and him, yeah, we started the program. We built the courses the way they are to the point. Yeah, he's pulling the plug. Good for him. Bad for me. Bad for everyone. He's taken a wealth of knowledge. This guy's sharp as heck. But it's that time for him. He teaches the criminology class. I'll be taking it. I only taught it once. I love it because it's theory. Okay, it just talks about theory. How we got to where we're at, how we apply what the Constitution tells us we have to do, different approaches. We talked a little bit last week about conflict versus consensus, interactionist, different perspectives. Well, that's what criminology focuses on, the scientific method to systematically study causes and consequences of criminal behavior, providing evidence-based insights. Notice there's no opinions there. It's fact. Study the statistics of crime and effect, cause and effect. That's criminology. The theories is whatever approach you want to take and whatever twist you want to put on it. That's what the theory comes in. But you can't really mitigate the facts. Facts are facts. It's how you interpret them that you come up with these different theories, and that's the study of criminology. Choice theory, rational choice. Choice theory posits that individuals choose to commit crime after weighing the potential of the benefits versus the risk. There's another theory, calculus. Oh God, I hope it's up there. Cesar Bassaria came up with it. And if a criminal believes they can get away with a crime, they're more likely to commit the crime. What is the consequence? A slap on the hand? Yeah, I'll do that. Or I'm going to prison. Well, maybe I won't. It's a deterrent. Okay, but rational choice is they are weighing the consequences. Motivated offenders, the decision to commit a specific crime is personal one based on an evaluation of information that's available to them. Trafficking of narcotics. I don't think, and I've met so many criminals in my life. I mean, hardened criminals, drug dealers, gang leaders, from all different kinds of gangs. And I love having conversations with these people because I ask them why. Especially when because I was a lieutenant on the yard, and they're coming to me, oh, I got a letter, my kid's sick, I really need to get on the phone. And I said, no, what you needed to do is stay home. Well, no, the cops framed me. I said, yeah, right, and who else framed you? And we really get into a good discussion. But the bottom line is, why are you here? You made a choice. A lot of them tell me that it really wasn't a choice for them. They grew up in that element. They're a victim of their environment. And there's studies that follow that kind of theory. A victim of their environment. Robert Downey Jr. Everybody know who he is? Right? Iron Man. I didn't used to like him that much. But the more he talked about his childhood, I watched a documentary on him. My God, it's a miracle that guy's still alive. The only way he could communicate with his father as a child was to get high with him. Sitting on the couch, getting high with him. Yeah, you gotta watch his story. Because I met him at the prison in Corcoran, the substance abuse. I was working out of Sacramento at that time. And so anyway, yeah, that was his thing. So the only way he could actually relate to his dad was getting high. He grew up, his mom used drugs, he grew up in that environment. Of course, and being who he was, it was just natural. Money was no object, he'd get the best drugs, he started that party scene. He was just part of that crowd. He went before judges time after time after time, never sank in. There was no consequence to this guy until he found himself sitting in a state prison. And he realized, this isn't working for me. I need to make a change. He personally decided he had to make that change. And he did. And thank God he did. He's gone on to do some incredible work. And he's humble. I mean, this is a guy they really didn't care for. But the more I got to know where he's been, the more I appreciate what he's done. Every one of those drug dealers I tell you about, gang leaders that I spoke to, had similar stories. But not with all the wealth and notoriety. They grew up in ghettos. Come home. One guy, remember, he came home, he said, his elementary school, found his mother laying in the bathtub with a needle still stuck in her arm, candles were lit, dead. And he's the one that found her. And where's his dad? In jail. But kids, children, crying because they had nothing to eat in the house. Thank God for Child Protective Services, right? They came to the rescue. You would hope, but that's not the case. I have a lot of run-ins with CPS. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know if your stories, if anybody's encountered them before. They're supposed to do good. Emphasis on the supposed to. They fall very short, my personal opinion. Yeah, there's some people out there do very good work. I'm not saying everybody's bad. And I'm not saying anybody's bad. I'm just saying the mission's failing. They're not really there to do what they should do. Lack of resources, lack of money, lack of training. There's plenty of excuses, but they're not doing the job. And that's not an excuse. So anyway, rational choice, motivated offenders, they commit crimes. That's why we have penalties. If you choose to traffic narcotics, depending on the quantity, and if you're caught and prosecuted, found guilty, you're going to pay the price. There's a consequence. The steeper the consequence, the less likely the person's going to commit the crime. Do we agree on that? Yeah, sort of. That's the theory. Doesn't really work though. Okay, so understanding situational crime. Increase effort. Make it more difficult for criminals to carry out their plans by improving security in accessible matters. Accessibility. Of course, we can improve security, but then we're going to become a police state. Who wants to live in a police state? I know I don't. We already tried that through the airport security after 9/11. You guys are probably way too young to have flown before 9/11, but it used to be kind of cool. You just walk up, hey, how's it going? And there was no strip search. There was always the scanners and stuff, but do you have your hand up there? No, okay. Yeah, no, we just go right through, because I'm old enough that I used to go through the airport at that time. 9/11 hits, and everybody's crying for more security. How did this happen? Nobody ever thought of this, that they could use an airplane, a commercial airliner, as a weapon. There was books written about this. I read them. Tom Clancy, one of my favorite authors, wrote a book, but it was the North Koreans that took control of a commercial airliner and flew it into, might have been the White House. Yeah, it was the White House. Blew up the White House, all kinds of crazy stuff. Years before 9/11. And here they are saying, well, nobody ever thought of this. Bunch of morons. I'm sorry, they really dropped the ball on that. But they tightened the security. Everybody's okay now after 9/11. We need more security. Let's increase spending on security. Let's fund the police. Let's get tighter security in the airport. We agreed they needed to increase the efforts because of a catastrophe. We're not like that anymore. We've relaxed. We really have. We're setting our nation up for something else. Don't know what's coming, but we've kind of just got comfortable, and hopefully it doesn't happen. But the more security, the less freedom. The more freedoms, the less security. It's a balancing act. Okay, that's just the way it works. Enhance the likelihood of detection, apprehension through increased surveillance. Reduce rewards is minimize the potential benefits of crime by targeting the motives, the opportunities that drive it. This is a good one because it deals with economy. We had that discussion last week. When the economy is doing well, the crime goes down. If we can get a job, if we can put people to work, they're less likely to commit a crime. So let's try that. I don't like this other one. Induce shame and guilt. I don't go for that one. Utilize social, cultural norms to discourage criminal behavior, emphasizing negative consequences, social stigma associated with crime. How about we just put an A on the forehead like that? Right? Yeah. Okay, you get that one. Or a C, I'm a criminal, I'm a convict. Make them wear their orange jumpsuits out in the community if they've committed a crime. That doesn't work. And I'm sorry, I don't agree with that last one, but it is a theory, and it's out. The role of deterrence. So we want people not to commit a crime. That's the whole goal. Well, how do we do it? Two methods. And you have to know these two different methods, specific and general. You're going to find this in your midterm. You'll see it in quizzes, in this class and in others. General deterrence, the idea that punishing criminals will deter other offenders. That's where the death penalty comes in. If we put people to death for having committed a heinous capital offense, a murder, it will cause others to think twice before doing something similar. I don't want to die like that. I don't want to be put down to death. So I'm not going to kill this person today. General deterrence, that's what it's all about. You punish someone to deter others from committing a similar crime. Specific deterrence is intended for the offender. I'm specifically going to punish the offender so this person doesn't repeat the crime or a crime, become a repeat offender. So that's the big difference. Deterrence in general is a big umbrella, broken down into two categories, general and specific. Any questions on this? No? Good. So understanding trait theories. Biochemical, neurological. Biochemical examines the influence of biological factors such as environment, contaminants, diet, hormones on criminal behavior. Neurological studies the role of neurotransmitters, brain abnormalities in explaining criminal tendencies and behavior. I committed a crime, but it's not my fault because. That's where the defense comes in. We're going to talk about defenses down the road. I'm not saying I didn't commit a crime. I'm saying I committed it, but because of these things, I shouldn't be held accountable. I shouldn't be punished. I'm a product of my environment. I said that earlier. I had no choice but to commit a crime. I'm unemployable. My dad was in prison. My mom's a dope addict prostitute. I have no choice. I have to be a criminal. Is that true? Anybody buy that?
No, that's not true.
Huh?
No, I feel like no, that's not true.
That's
As
not
an
true.
adult, you have the choice.
Well, as an adult, what about a child?
Oh,
Juvenile
that's
offender.
different.
Do they have choices? Say 11, 12 years old. Do they have a choice? It's sad because you kind of empathize with them. They didn't have that role model, somebody telling them, don't do that. Go to school, educate yourself. As a country, boy, have we dropped the ball there. We really have. There's a few that scratch their ways out of that environment and have done well for themselves. but they're the exception and not the rule. And that's sad. Okay, that really is sad. So anyway, but that's the point here. I'm a product of my environment. So therefore, I should be held accountable for the crimes I've committed. The other one, brain abnormality. There's scientific studies that is still researching this, saying that the reason I committed a crime is because my brain misfunctions. There's something going on. My neurons and whatever's going on up there, I'm not a brain person, but something's wrong. And therefore, I have a propensity for stealing. You know that one? The percent kleptomaniac? Is that the word for stealing? Yeah. There's something wrong in their brain. So should they be excused from their criminal behavior? Don't know. That's for a jury to decide, right? Let the jury decide which expert they want to believe, the DAs or the defense. So each case is argued independently, but these are just some of the theories out there. Impact of genetic factors. The biocriminologists investigate potential links between genetic predispositions and the likelihood of criminal behavior. Genetically. I grew up in a ghetto, which I did. It was terrible. People dying and doing drugs all over the damn place. But my parents never did drugs. They were hardworking people. They taught us, don't associate with those people. You just gotta go to school, do good, get your asses home, do your homework, only associated with family, and it worked. And when they did well enough, we moved out of the ghetto and moved into a nicer area. But they really worked hard. I was fortunate that I had role models. Okay, there's people in that same ghetto that didn't have that. They went the other way. Guys right across the street. I don't know if you've heard of a gang called Nuestra Familia from up north, northern Mexican gang. Yeah. Yeah, they're the rivals of the Emmett. They always fight. It was just stupid, but that's just the way it is. My neighbor across the street became a lieutenant in the NF, Ralphie Sanchez. Dumbass. I don't think he hit 38, died. He was killed before then. Yeah, good for you. Power to the raza. Yeah, dumbass. But anyway, the gangs, depends on where you grow up. The genetic links. My parents used drugs. There's studies though. What they call these druggy babies. When the mother's shooting up on heroin. God, I can't believe it. But yeah, they do this crap. Methamphetamines, heroin abuse, and they're pregnant. And they pass that to the child. Well, when the child is born, they're already born addicted. And they have to be weaned off of these drugs. It's ridiculous that it's happening. But it's happening as we speak. So in that case, yeah, genetics, it's passed through. But there's no gene, to my knowledge, that says because the dad and the mom are thieves, or even like to kill people, they're murderers, that if they have a child, the child's gonna have that gene, that they're gonna wanna steal and kill people. There's no study that says that, to my knowledge. But genetics is whatever it is you want to believe, because there's research done on both sides that yes, a criminal, an offender, is genetically disposed to commit crime. We'll see. That's still being argued today. So delving into psychological theories, psychodynamic, cognitive, and social learning. So understanding psychodynamics. Early development challenges. Theory highlights the impact of early childhood experiences and traumas on personality development, potentially leading to criminal behavior. So the child experiences traumas, witnesses. I gotta talk, I hate this one, but violence in the home, parents arguing. When I say parents, guys, I'm not saying because I know there's all kinds of different dynamics now in the household. I'm not arguing whether there's a father and a mother, a girlfriend and a boyfriend. I'm just saying two people, okay? We'll call them person A and person B. And you put the faces to them, I don't care. But they're arguing, and then it gets physical, and people start hurting each other. You see the picture? And there's a child that's witnessing, they're exposed to this. Does that have an impact on the psyche?
Yes.
Yes. I've heard yes, I've heard no. I've heard, and this is the right answer. Depends. It always depends. Because everything is different. It just depends. Some children are more susceptible to following those footsteps. They become, as an adult, a violent person. That when they're in a relationship, they're more predisposed to resort to violence than not. Because that's what they saw growing up. Everybody get the picture what I'm trying to put out here? Okay. So the child sees these things. So they think that's normal. And as they grow up, they're more likely to follow in that suit. Okay. So that means that if a child grew up in a perfect home, loving parents, never argued, never fought, then that child should never hurt anyone, right? In their relationships. Should never hurt anyone, should never be violent with the significant other in that relationship. Who buys that one? Good, because that's bull.
Yeah.
That's bull.
Wait, repeat that, please?
That if somebody grew up in a beautiful home, loving, caring, the child never witnessed any violence, that then when they grow up, they'll never be a violent person.
That's not how it's
That ain't fun. No, that ain't gonna fly either. So what makes somebody, what's that trigger that makes somebody violent in a relationship? Figure it out, you'll be a millionaire. Okay? Because nobody really knows. It depends. We don't know. Shit, we can't even figure out what causes it in ourselves sometimes. Why are we more susceptible to get angry? In some cases and not in others. I don't know. I really don't. Figure it out though. That's the challenge. Okay, so cognitive theory, perceptions and mental representations. Cognitive theory examines how individuals perceive and interpret the world around them, influencing the decision-making behavior. You see a lot of this in successful people. Cognitive theory. Assess what's happening. Use the information to make an educated decision. Don't act on impulse. I don't think there's much to say here. It's pretty self-describing here. Understanding antisocial. Okay, ASPD, antisocial personality disorder. Characterized by a lack of empathy, remorse, disregard for social norms, often leading to criminal behavior. Okay, some of you just got out of high school. Some of you haven't been in high school for a little while. But think back. That kid. I'm older, and I still remember the kid that fits this one. His name was Ricky. That dude was crazy. He ended up getting killed in some gang bullshit, but yeah. He was crazy. Always causing problems. He would do shit and then laugh about it. And I'm looking at him, what's wrong with you? He would just laugh. It was scary. That guy was scary. And it did lead to criminal behavior. Drug abuse. He became a violent offender in gangs and ended up being killed. Didn't end up well for him. Antisocial personality disorder. Our prisons are full of people like this. Some of them, think about this. Just look at it. Except for the criminal behavior. Some of these people are your best leaders. In industry, in politics, they have that drive. They don't care who they walk over or step on. They have no remorse. They don't give a damn about social norms. They're going to do what they're going to do. They don't care who they hurt. Just get rid of the criminal part. And some of them, they even do commit some criminal acts to succeed. Crime shows psychological portrayals, implied theories, offender understanding, and personal trait. So let's talk about IQ. Some researchers suggest a link between low IQ and criminal behavior. However, relationship is complex, requires a lot of further investigation. What they did here is try to study people who their IQs were lower than what social norms should be. And figured that if their IQs were that low, they must be a criminal. or a propensity to criminal behavior. They couldn't prove it. There's still studies out there trying to identify lower IQs with the likelihood of becoming a criminal. And they can continue. I don't buy this theory either, because I know some people with the IQ of a doorknob, but they wouldn't hurt anybody. They're just not the sharpest crayons. Yeah.
Aren't most serial killers, don't they have really high IQs?
Some do.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like categorizing.
Yeah.
But yes, some do have extremely high IQs. Yeah, really high. That's how they get away with what they're doing. But they also have that other one we talked about, antisocial behavior. They don't care who they hurt, and they have a lot of other different types of abnormalities that we'll talk about. Yeah.
Don't they say like children that are more intelligent are easily bored or something
Mhm.
like that?
Yeah.
People that are smart and general are easily bored.
Yeah. And what's weird is
Scary.
they also don't do as well in classes because they get bored. The teacher's up here like me talking and talking, they're just saying, why, I already know everything. And they probably do. So they get bored, they don't do as well in classes, they need to be challenged.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
oldest daughter is like that.
Really?
Her therapist even said it's like people aren't on their level.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing, they don't really fit in anywhere.
No?
Yeah.
No. And it's hard to identify, right? It really is. When I was growing up, I wasn't the sharpest crayon by any means. But when I got into high school as a freshman, when a teacher recognized something in me, thank God. And it was in my math class. It was algebra. They had broke down algebra 1 and 1A, where you take half of it and then you take the other half. But I was bored. I was going through the assignments so fast, and she saw something and said, we met one-on-one, and she asked me a lot of questions. She tested me, and then she goes, well, how would you like to just work on your own? I said, well, that'd be great. I ended up finishing the entire book like in 3 months. It was ridiculous. Yeah, and she goes, okay, well, what else do you like? I said, well, I like electronics. So I did an electronic program. I went right through that, a 2-year program. I did it like in 1. I took a lot of other math classes, a lot of different science classes, but it was because of her. It was because of that she saw, otherwise I would have went the other way. I would have just completely blown everything and said, well, this is stupid. But thank God, recognize, if you can, in your children, friends, whoever it is that you know, if they just need a challenge sometimes. Depending on your field of study too. We got a little bit off track. We'll come back to that if you want to, but that's an interesting point. IQ is not indicative of either someone who's going to excel or fail. It's just a number. It really is. Introducing sociological theories: disorganization, process, and critical. So we're going to talk about these 3. Notice how many theories we've talked about? Criminology, guys. And we're going right through this. In the 112 class, you spend a whole year, a semester, studying these different applications of theories. Really interesting stuff. Okay, so disorganized neighborhood, effects of inequality. Disorganized neighborhoods often experience high rates of crime and social problems due to factors like income inequality, poverty, lack of resources, the haves and the have-nots. Again, where I grew up, it was divided by railroad tracks. If you were on the south side of those railroad tracks, you were poor. And that was true. Okay? Everybody on the south side was all projects. Very, very low income. If you were on the north side of the railroad tracks, right in the middle, you did pretty good. You were average. If you were on the other side of, God, I think it was Grant Line was the name of the road. If you were north of Grant Line, you were in the money. Nice big houses, swimming pools in the backyard, stuff like that. Lack of resources. Wow, people don't care. It really is what it boiled down is you believe that those people in the poor areas are there by choice. They don't have a desire to improve. They've accepted their conditions and they just don't want to make anything of themselves. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, really, that's a lie. But that's what people believe who aren't in that area. And the people that are believing that are the ones that allocate the funds. So they just don't give a damn. Why improve the projects? They're just gonna buy drugs anyway. They're just gonna tag it. Broken windows theory. I don't know if you guys got into that one yet. Broken windows theory. You go in there and you try to make things better, they're just gonna destroy it anyway. They're a bunch of animals, they don't know how to act. It's a blemish on society. It's a good thing they're on that side. We'll focus improving the quality of life for these people. That's sad. We need to focus, because that's still happening today. We need to focus resources on helping the people who need the most help. That's just the bottom line. Exploring social process theories suggests that individuals learn criminal behaviors through interactions with others, particularly close relationships with delinquent peers. My parents always said, if you want to know something about this person, look at his friends. What's the thing about a bird with a feather and they fly together? Say it again?
Birds of a feather flock together.
That's it. Birds of a feather flock. I'm terrible at sayings. I remember I told you that day one. Birds of a feather flock together. That means like-minded individuals. So if this person has done time, they're a juvenile delinquent, they're always getting in trouble. I mean, they just talk back to the teacher, they're disruptive. You know the kind I'm talking about, right? That's this, and this is their best friend. What does that tell you about this person? Think about it. Are they most likely to be similar as this? Yeah. You just say it, it's okay. No. Yes. Is it true? Don't know.
Not all the time. I must say, when
Not
I was
all the
a teenager, some of the group that I hung around, they all asked this one person about me. They was like, why do y'all hang around her? She doesn't even do the same stuff y'all do.
Yeah.
They were smoking, doing drugs, doing everything, and I didn't do anything.
But they were still your friends?
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
I put myself in because I didn't have nowhere else to fit. So
Yeah.
I just,
I was similar. I grew up in the projects. All my friends were little hood rats. They like to hang out at the park and smoke cigarettes. I want to play sports. So I was out practicing basketball or football. I was the, I don't know what they call me, but they call me names, but they're still my friends. I didn't have a choice. These are the kids I went to school with, that didn't really know anybody else, so I had to hang out with somebody. But when it came down to the social stuff, they would go one way and I'd go the other way. And it was kind of weird, especially when we got to high school. They're out there doing stupid shit and I'm practicing and I'm doing something. And they did okay. I'm not gonna pick on them, they did okay. But yeah, your peers. If you look at people that associate with known offenders, we'll call them an offender, they're more likely to follow in those footsteps. Not saying they will, but it's likely. Learning criminal attitude. Differential association theory highlights the role of intimate relationships in shaping criminal attitudes and behavior. Association theory highlights the role of intimate relationships. Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde. That was it. The ultimate in criminal behavior in a relationship. They got off on it. They loved it. And there are criminals that, maybe not to that degree, but have intimate relationships. We'll cover for each other. We'll go down for each other. Because that's just the thing to do. Okay. And again, guys, this is a theory. Just a theory. Critical criminology's perspective on social power and inequality. Critical criminology focuses on how social power structures, inequality, and systems of oppression influence criminal behavior. Demanding social justice. What else is there? All kinds of language. Who believes, let's see, just a show of hands, who believes there is social inequalities in our state, our county? Come on, who believes it? You can raise your hand. Okay. Those of you that are shy, don't really want to be. Of course there's going to be inequality. Parity, equal justice, the idea, and I think there's a theory called utopia, where everyone lives in a utopian society. Far-fetched. Marxists, have you ever anybody studied Marxism? That's, in social justice or sociology, that's kind of what Marxists was shooting for. And communism was a government who oversaw that everyone was treated equal. If you were a doctor and you picked up the garbage, you lived in similar homes, your incomes were similar, because we're all still humans. It's humanity based. But what happens when you give somebody that kind of power? It gets abused. And they become the ruling, they call them the czars, and it doesn't end well. Just ask Russia. It doesn't end well. Communism, whether you want to believe in communism theory and Marxism, yes, it is in theory a great idea, but it's not practical. It really doesn't work because human nature gets involved, greed gets involved. And that's what capitalists, our government, that's what we are, we're capitalists. We thrive on that. Earn your way, do better for yourselves, for your family. Government doesn't need to provide as much. Social inequality. Yes, that's true. There always will be. We could try to minimize it as much as we can, but it's going to exist. Doesn't mean it's right. All right. And does it influence criminal behavior? It can. It can. Dynamics of developmental theories, life course versus age graded. Okay, let's look at this one. Criminality is a dynamic process influenced by individual perceptions experienced throughout their lives. Our lives. So from beginning to wherever point you are in your life has made you what you are. Do we believe that? No? Yes?
Some extent.
Do we believe life course theory, guys? Come on. Yeah. Okay, this is an easy one. Give me a lob ball here. Of course it is. It makes you who you are. You went like this. Okay, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, of course. It makes you who you are. That's what they're saying in life course. They did the studies and they found some concrete evidence. And of course, there was all the opposing views, but for the majority, yes, you are what you've been, your experiences. Age-graded theory, turning points in life such as marriage, employment, education, can redirect individuals away from criminal behavior. As you grow older, statistically, these are probably two of the most supported theories, statistically. Just look at prison statistics. Who is in prison today as adult offenders? Right? Do you see a lot of 60-year-olds in prison? No, not really. 60-year-old females? Maybe one. How about 20 to 25-year-old males? Yeah, there you go. Now we're talking. Throw in the minority aspect, and yeah, there's your dynamic in prison. How about female versus male? We talked about that too last week. Mostly predominantly male. Why? Because guys are dumb, okay? Women are down here. Very low statistic representation, incarceration. They do stupid things too, but not as much. So that's what we're saying here. Life course theory and age graded. Theory of victimization. Examining the factors that contribute to victimization and the ways in which individuals become vulnerable to crime. Has anybody heard the saying, and I know you guys have because you're in that age group, she plays it like she's such a victim. You're laughing already. She wants to be the victim. Yeah, okay, good. I see some head going, yeah. What does it mean? It's that poor me attitude, right? Everything happens to me because who I am. I never heard nobody. Now you guys think, bitch, you never get out of bed. How can you do Okay, all right. But you get what I'm saying, right? Yeah, they're the victim, poor me. Don't be the victim. Don't portray yourself as a victim. Now let's move that out to society. Criminals, I know we talked about this a little bit ago, they're going to commit a crime where there's the least likelihood of any kind of punishment, no consequence. So if I'm the bad guy, I'm the criminal, I'm standing out here, I'm looking for a victim. And I look and I walk, and I could see people as they walk, just how they carry themselves. If they carry themselves in a manner where they look like they're going to be able to defend themselves. They're younger, they look a little stronger. I'm not probably gonna try to do, and I'm gonna go face to face with somebody. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this person alone, and I'm gonna wait. And I'm just sitting there and I'm waiting till I find the perfect victim. 50 to 60 years old. Remember, I'm a kid, I'm about 22. And I'm strong, I'm fast, and I'm gonna snatch something, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Here comes this 50 or 60-year-old woman carrying her purse, maybe even on the phone, distracted, right? You want somebody distracted. And they're just walking and very loosely, not paying attention to their surroundings. And I think, ding, 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 ding. I'm gonna get this one. And as she passes me, I grab that purse and I'm gone, right? She's still on the phone saying, hey, Maribel, I think I just got robbed. She don't even know what happened yet. Okay, the perfect victim. Don't be that person. If you're in law enforcement and you're out doing a patrol, we love getting cops on the ground. I don't like seeing them drive around. I want to see them on the ground. And when I was in the community, I was in the hell was I in the grand jury in Kings County. And so we'd meet with the chiefs of police and the sheriffs, and that was one thing, thank God, we agreed on. Boots on the ground. I want to see cops going in, talking to these businesses. I want to see that presence because it's a deterrent, right? Somebody wants to commit a crime. Say this guy that wants to steal the purse, and there's an officer standing right there just watching him. Do you think he's going to steal that purse? Hell no, because he doesn't want to get caught. That's the whole idea, okay? Don't be a victim. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Don't have that victim mentality. It ain't healthy, my opinion on that one. Routine activities theory. Convergence, there's a few things here. Routine activity theory suggests that crime occurs when a motivated offender, a suitable target, and the absence of a capable guardian converge at the same time and same place. The right person, the right place, and the right opportunity, hell yeah, they're gonna commit a crime. This theory focuses, well, I think it was written, yes, it was written, on studies conducted in the community. Okay, I spent 20 years plus in prisons, and I can attest this holds in prison as well. I was working as an officer, God, back in the early 80s, in a housing unit, 264 inmates, 3 tiers high, divided in half. This way, the doors open this way. I'm up on the 3rd tier because I heard they were gonna go off, meaning there's gonna be a riot. And so I stood up on the 3rd tier the whole night just watching. And the inmates I knew, I waved them, called them by name, how's it going? I got you. They knew I was watching their every freaking move. They didn't do a damn thing. Because they knew if they went off, they were gonna get caught. Next day was my day off. I knew they were gonna go off. Right? I knew they'd go off. I get the call, hey, they went off. The Inland Empire went off on, I don't remember, they were crazy. The IEs, oh, those guys were something else. Their calling card, they stab you in the eyeball. I don't know why, but that was their thing. They love stabbing people in the eyeball. And they did. They went up into a cell, stabbed a kid right in the eyeball. Yeah. So they freeze the unit, they take the diagrams, take notes, interview witnesses. I come back in on my day off. And I look at the notes, and I see where everybody was at. And I told the sergeant, I go, these are the guys right here. They did it. They go, well, how do you know? They're out of place. They never hang out in that place, and it was relatively close to where the hit was. They were just across in the other tier. 1 tier down in the shower. I go, they did it. So we bring them in, I interview them. And sure as shit, I got them to cough it up. I love talking to inmates. I'm thinking of the notoriety, man. You're gonna be awesome. You get to the hole, you hit that dude. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I got them all 3 to confess. It was pretty good. But I could tell because I was observant, I was diligent, and I knew my people. Same thing on the street. That's why you want officers on the ground. So they get to know the people. The more contacts they have, the more effective they can be. And this activity, the routine, this is a study somebody did. Break it up. Eliminate any one of those. Eliminate an offender or a suitable target, a motive, and you don't have that crime. That's the whole idea. Eliminate one of these possibilities and you minimize this crime, or even eliminate it. Okay, applying victimization theories to sexual assault. Victim precipitation examines how the victim's actions or behavior might have contributed to the crime. I don't like that one. They use that a lot as a defense. So the offender is telling the jury the victim asked for it. That's what that first bullet's telling me. Lifestyle explores the role of individual lifestyles, activities, increasing the risk of victimization. There was a heinous murder took place in Chicago yesterday, day before. 2, I'll say immigrants, murdered, tortured, I think he said it was 60-year-old, in his basement. That's where they found the body. And he was a victim of lifestyle theory. He was gay. Turns out the guy was gay. He was soliciting for gay partners. 2 young male, one from Ecuador and one from somewhere else, paid him a visit. And I don't know exactly what transpired, but the end result was they tortured and killed him. Routine activity analyzes how the convergence of motivated offenders with target absence of capable guardians increase the likelihood of a sexual assault. Roles and risk factors. Individual is age, gender, socioeconomic status can influence the likelihood of being a victim. Absolutely. Social is neighborhood characteristics, social disorganization, lack of social support can increase vulnerability. Crimes most likely are going to happen in impoverished neighborhoods versus neighborhoods where there's some wealth. They have security cameras. They probably have private patrol. Police probably pay more attention to these areas. Anybody want to argue that point? No. So good. Yeah, are you buying it? Yeah. If you live in a poor neighborhood where there's a lot of gang activity, a lot of drug activity, a lot of prostitution going on, all these terrible things are going on. Good luck finding a cop.
Yeah, someone from some places, the cops won't even come.
They won't even go there. Yeah. That's sad. Exploring victim offender, intimate partner violence, stranger violence. This PowerPoint is not in your Canvas course shell as of yet. I will publish this video recording, which has the PowerPoint and the PowerPoint itself. So if you want to go back and just look at it without having to listen to me, you're more than welcome to go back and check out these slides. Impact of victimization, psychological consequences, social consequences, and economic. These people that have become victims suffer. There's primary and secondary victims. The primary victim suffered directly because of the act. The secondary victim also is going to suffer because they're trying to support the primary victim. And you can read about that part in the book. Victims may experience anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. Victimization can lead to social isolation, strained relationships, difficulties, trusting. And victims may experience financial loss, job stability, and healthcare expenses. Anybody disagree with these bullets? It's just the way it is, guys. Crisis, intervention, immediate support resources in the aftermath of a crime. Counseling does help. Legal assistance does help. I always look at these things. I mean, it's good that they're there, but what's it? The horses already at the barn, right? And now you're trying to close the door. Come on, guys, what's that saying about the horse in the barn? How about a sinking boat? The boat's already sinking. I think it's sinking. There's holes, and there's the government on the top trying to, with a little pail, trying to get the water out of the boat. It's a sinking boat. It's too late. These people already have suffered from a crime. I'm an advocate. Get in front of it. Don't allow these crimes to happen. That would be better than letting somebody suffer from the crime and then give them the phone number to the hotline. Oh, here, call this number and they'll talk to you. Importance of victim empowerment. You got to support victims, ensuring that victims have a voice in the legal process. That's a joke. And promoting healing and recovery. Victims in the legal process. There's a thing called victim impact statement, especially in a rape case. They get up in front of the podium, either the victim or someone, and reads the statement. Usually it's already prepared. Your Honor, they tell everybody that what's happened. We ask that, you throw the book at this offender and may he never see the light of day. And I mean, they make it a plea to the court for a harsher sentence. And I said that's bull, because the sentence has already been determined in chambers. We meet, counsel, defense counsel, the DA's office, and the judge. We meet in chambers, and we go over what the consequences are, whether it should be mitigated, aggravated, or given the expected term. We argue these things. And once we've made an agreement between the two attorneys, then the judge kind of just says, okay, that's what we'll do. All this happens in chambers in secret. Then we go out in front of the court. We call the court to order. We have people in the gallery, the family, both sides, the judge, and these people sitting there pleading. They have no idea. They've already made a deal. So this part here, that pisses me off. Victims have a voice. No, they don't. If they knew the truth, it'd be sad. Future, where are we going? What theory? We talked about a few theories. There's a lot more. But what's the goal? Where the hell are we going with all this? Emergent theories? Yeah, there's more. Technological advancements? Yeah, we got AI. Yeah, they're going to save the world. I don't know. But what's the answer? What are the solutions? We know the problems. Got a lot of good ideas. But what's the solution and how do we implement it? How do we do something effective to minimize crime? To protect people? To prevent people from becoming victims? To punish offenders? What is the right way to do these things? I don't know. I wish I did. I don't. But if you do, you can make a lot of money with it. Write it up. Make a theory. Call it your own theory. Ralph's theory. Write it up. And sell it. Go around speaking to schools and different criminal justice organizations. Sell your theory. And good luck. Hopefully it works. Questions? No. No questions? Okay. Let me get the lights on, guys. Turn this off.